Hello and welcome back to my channel, Cards by Melissa Minor. I have a really fun project that I want to do today. I am going to give it a try with doing some mixed media. But before I start that, I have a 12 by 12 sheet of white cardstock here, and I have my Omnia Grip ruler, and I want to find the center of my layout. So I've just marked an X here, and I've put a little pencil mark, and then I've cut out this heart. It is 9 1/4 in size. I've cut that out on my Cricut, and I've placed it here in the center of my 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock. And I'm just going to trace this with my pencil, and I'm going to lift this up, and that is going to be the beginning to this layout. All right, now I'm going to start a mixed media on this layout. So I'm bringing in my Scrapbook.com non-stick large silicone craft mat to protect my work surface. And then it's going to get fun. I'm bringing in my Prima watercolors. This is the shade of Vintage Pastel. And you can see here, I haven't even opened all the colors. That's how often I paint, not very often. But I want to paint today. I was really inspired by some other people that I've been watching on YouTube, and they make it look easy, so I thought I'd give it a try. Now, the little heart here that I've placed in the center, I've cut that out of some close to my heart cardstock, the Wisteria cardstock. And I didn't think that the purple here that I have actually matches the Wisteria. So I'm dipping my paintbrush into the water and putting some purple onto the tray. And now I'm going to dip my paintbrush into the water and also into this blue color, and I'm going to place that into the tray. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mix these two together to see if I can make this a purple shade that makes the wisteria color. And I think that looks pretty good. And look at that. I'm pretty excited about this. I think I've matched the wisteria color pretty spot on. Not bad for a beginner, right? Okay, so I am just going to dab some of this paint along the outside of this heart. And you may think, Melissa, this looks a little crazy. And you're right, it does right now. But stick around. I promise you, in the end, this layout is going to be gorgeous. At least I think it does. So I'm going to continue mixing the colors because you can see here my first mixture only got me, about 1/4 of the way around the heart. So I'm going to repeat the process, dipping my paintbrush in the water and then in the purple, putting it on the tray, dipping my paintbrush in the water and then in the blue and then in the tray, and mixing them together. So I'm going to continue going around the heart and just bringing that paint out from around the heart here. And we will continue doing that all the way around. Like I said, I'm a beginner with this, but I was really inspired by some other crafters, and so I wanted to give it a try as well. All right, so one more little go here at the paint. And it's okay if the colors aren't an exact match. I think that gives it a little more depth if you don't have the colors the exact same. And a lot of this is going to be covered up in the end, so it's okay if it's not exactly the same. You won't see very much of this paint in the end. Okay, so we are almost done with the painting portion. Just a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so that looks really good. I do want to add some splatters just to give it a little more texture here. So I was out of paint, so let me mix up a little more really quick. And I've got some more paint mixed up. So to add the splatters, I'm going to grab the closest thing to me, which happens to be a bottle of glue, and I'm going to tap it on my paintbrush here just to add some splatters. So I'm going all the way around the heart. Let me pick up this one that I placed in the center here, and I'm going to get some splatters all the way around this heart. And then I'm going to set this aside so it can dry. Okay, that looks pretty good. I like it. All right, so the next thing I want to do here is I do want to add some shimmer. This is Scrapbook.com's clear shimmer brush, and I know it's really hard to appreciate on camera because the camera doesn't pick up this clear shimmer. But if you could see it in person, the clear sparkle that it is adding to this page is crazy. It is so pretty. And I wish you could see it, but the camera just really doesn't pick it up. I'll hold it up here in a moment for you to get a look at it, but I just don't think the light picks it up. Let me see if you can see it. No, you can't really see it, but I promise you it is there and it's worth it. All right, so now that I have that done, I've cut out some more hearts on my Cricut. So for this base layer, I've cut these hearts at 1.5. And then I also have some accent hearts that I've cut out at 1/2 inch, and they are in some pattern paper. This is the Wisteria cardstock, like I said, from Close to My Heart, and then I also have some pattern paper that I used. I'm going to distress all the edges. You can use a distressing tool. I'm actually going to use my scissors and distress the edges. I'm just going to go around the edges like this. I'll do this first one on camera, and then I'll finish doing the rest of these off camera. Okay, there we go. So just like that. And I love how it shows the white of the cardstock. All right, so I have all of these hearts distressed, and now I want to go in and create a wreath. So I'm going to arrange the 1.5 inch hearts around the pencil line that I drew, and you can put these as close as you want together or as far as apart as you'd like, but I'm using the solid hearts all the way around here, so I'm just going to dry fit these all the way around. And it's okay if you don't match them up exactly, because I'm going to go in and fill in some of the other areas with those pattern paper hearts as more of like an accent heart. So we'll go ahead and go all the way around and see how that painted area is just kind of peeking out from the hearts. I love the way that that looks, and you can really see that mixed media background just peeking out from behind it. It looks so pretty. Okay, so let me just finish putting these 1.5 inch hearts, my base layer, down, and you can kind of go in just a little bit and maybe out for just some of them, overlap a few, tuck over and tuck under. And then I'm kind of starting and stopping, going from one side to the other just to make sure I don't get them so matchy-matchy. And I have the base layer here. So now I'm going to go in with some of the patterned hearts. I actually have some of the hearts for the base layer also cut with the same 1.5 inch, but it's just the reverse side. You know, with Close to My Heart's cardstock, they're two-toned. So some of them, one side is dark and one side's light. So I thought that that would give some extra dimension here with just two-toned. And I am going to go in with some foam tape when I start gluing these down to pop some of these up. So my base layer, I'm going to glue down flat. And then some of these, the lighter hearts, I'll put on some foam tape, and then also the ones that are on the pattern paper, I'll also glue some of those down on foam tape as well. So I'm just going to finish kind of arranging these, and then off camera I'll glue these down. So it may not look exactly like this, but you kind of get the idea here. All right, so I have all of those glued down and in place, and I did add my foam dots. And now I have these little tiny hearts. I've cut these out in a smaller size. I cut these down in about 1/4 inch. And so these are in the opposite side of the little heart paper. The opposite side of that was this other pattern. And so I'm going to go in with these little accent hearts and just kind of sprinkle these around the page. And so I'll put some inside the heart and then a few of these outside the heart. And then I'll continue doing this. Now I am using the Artiste glue. I like this glue. It is a liquid glue here, and it's got a really fine tip applicator that you can add to it. So it works great for these little small embellishments. So I've got just a few here that I want to just sprinkle around. So this is looking good. And then we'll bring in some pictures here. But we're first going to get this background all set up before we bring in our pictures. So this layout design was inspired by Allison Davis, if I didn't mention that before. Some of her layouts are just gorgeous, and she really inspires me. Okay, and now I'm also bringing in some of these little sequins. Pink and Main came out with these in April, I believe, and this is the color Lilac Confetti, and it's just a little shade different, but I like how it brings out the purple. And in the pictures that I'm going to be bringing in, I'm wearing a lilac dress, and so I really think that these little lilac confetti sequins bring out the lilac in my dress. Now I have sped this up quite a bit here because it's quite embarrassing how much I fuss with these sequins. For some reason, I feel like these sequins have one way that they should be glued down, and every time I pick them up, I feel like they're upside down. I am using a pick up and place tool that has a wax tip on the end of it, which makes it easier for picking them up, but I'm struggling with getting them flipped over. So I do end up bringing in some tweezers to help me flip them over. I'm trying to use my fingers at first, and then I realize in a bit that my fingers just quite aren't working, and that the tweezers are going to help me get them flipped over. And I don't know if it's just me. Maybe sequins, it doesn't matter if they go a certain way, but for some reason I feel like there's a proper direction to glue these sequins down. And it probably doesn't matter, but it's just the thing that I have with these sequins. So I probably should have edited this part out, but I did leave it in here. And I do fuss with these for way too long. But I think I'm almost finished here putting on all of these sequins, and there we go. I think I just have a couple left, and then we will move on with this page. But isn't this looking so pretty? I just love this wreath. Okay, there we go. We've got all the sequins down. We can move on. Perfect. Nope, we got one more. Oh my goodness. All right, now we have all the sequins down. Now, this is a little different for me. Usually I will gut a page to do a border, but I've done something different in this one. And I have actually cut down strips, and these strips measure 11 3/4 by 1/4. And so I've taken the pattern paper that is the smallest heart, and I have cut this down, like I said, to 11 3/4 by 1/4. And I'm just going to go along all of the edges of the paper. And this is what I am going to use as my mat here. So I left the white cardstock 12 by 12, and I'm going in to add this border all the way around. So all of these just line up, and I'm getting it all the way to the edge of the page. So this is a nice little trick that you can do, and it saves you a lot of cardstock. If you don't want to gut a whole piece of cardstock, you can just cut down these little strips. And this is a great method. It lines up. You can just line these up, and you see how great they line up. And there we go. Especially since I didn't have a whole enough paper that I could do this with. So there we go. And I've got one more strip here. You can see my paper did warp just a little bit from adding the water color, but I think I don't think it's going, I think it's going to flatten out. There we go, and there's the last one. Doesn't that look nice? I think that that really looks nice framing in the layout. It really adds a lot to it. Okay, so now we have that finished. Love it. All right, so the next step that I want to do in this process is I want to figure out the placement of my photos. So I think that I want to put the photos right here in the center like this. So let me go ahead and show you the photos. So this is my son Logan, and that's me. And this was on his wedding day. He got married in 2022, and here we are dancing. He lives in Utah, and he had the most beautiful wedding. And I'm not just saying that because he's my son. This wedding was so pretty. It was outdoors, and then it had like this open barn, and there were mountains in the background. It was the most beautiful setting for a wedding that I've ever seen. And oh, it was just so pretty. Now I went ahead and my photos are 2.5 by 3.5. And then I've matted them on some vellum. And then I've just kind of torn the edges of the vellum, just kind of real messy, to go with my mixed media type style layout. So I want to put my photos, I think, a little something like this. So let me go ahead and bring in my adhesive. I do have the Scrapbook.com dotted refillable tape runner. So I'm going to put some tape along the back of this photo, and I'm just going to kind of nestle it in here. And let me see here, make sure this is how I want them. So I think I want this one on the right of us dancing, kind of on the top. And this was our mother-son dance. There we go. And see how like the lavender, even though the wisteria is not the same color as my dress, I think it really makes my dress pop even more. So I really like that. Okay, so there we go. I've got that pressed down, and I've got some fingerprints, I think, on my picture. So let me bring in this microfiber towel and just kind of press my photos down and wipe some of these fingerprints off. There we go. That looks a lot better. All right, so I need a title. So I've brought in this stamp set from Close to My Heart. This was in my stash, and this is called Cherished Blossoms. So I have my Rose Quartz Misty already mounted, and I have the stamp mounted here. And this says Cherish Every Moment, and I'm using the Close to My Heart Wisteria ink. And you know, the ink matches the paper, which matches, I think, the painting that we did. And this looks pretty good, but let me go ahead and ink it up one more time so that we get a real dark, nice impression. And I'm using the Stampendable stamping tool here to get nice even pressure. And let's see, that looks really good. Let me clean this off with my stamp chamois here so I can go ahead and place that back on the carrier sheet. Let me peel this up. There we go. And then this stamp does have a die that matches it. And this die is good because it cuts out like the center of the C, and it's really intricate, I think. I like that. So I've brought in my mint tape, and let me get this lined up. And I'm really gonna put the mint tape on here because I don't want this to move since it cuts out the center of the C, and then, you know, gets right up close to these letters. So let me go ahead and run this through my die cut machine. And doesn't that look nice? So I think I want to put it maybe like this. I want it to overlap my photos a little bit. And I think it's going to need a little bit of foam tape since I've popped up those, some of those hearts. I think that this title is going to need to be popped up as well. So I'm going to grab some foam tape, and I've got some thin foam tape here, I'm going to put a couple strips on the back and see if I can get this to pop up. And I think I'm going to need a little bit behind the letters as well, just so it all stays even. So I hope that this can fit behind these letters. Let me hold it up. Yeah, that's going to work great. Perfect. So let me see if I can slip a little bit under the H and see if I can hide it back there. Okay, I think that's going to work too. Let me peel these strips off, and we'll go ahead and get this title stuck down on the layout. And let's see here. Where do I want to put it? That's the hardest part, right? Getting it all lined up. I know I want to overlap my photos just a little bit. And you know what? I think I'm noticing a little bit of that foam tape sticking out on that H. So let me grab my scissors and trim it up just a little bit. I mean, there's just like a tiny sliver showing, and I don't want that showing. So I'm off camera a little bit here, but I want to trim just a little sliver off. I don't want that foam tape to show. Okay, now I've got that off. So let me put this title back on the page. And I do want it to overlap my photo a bit, but I don't want it covering myself. There we go. I'm going to give it a press. Perfect. I love the way that looks. I need to put it underneath this heart though. I want it to be over the heart, so I've grabbed this little tool. There. That looks perfect. I love it. Okay. So the next thing I need to do is I need to do some journaling. So I've brought in these slim strip dies. These are amazing for journaling. I don't know if you've ever used these, but these are perfect for when you scrapbook because they cut out the perfect size for journaling strips. So I just used like this scrap of paper here, and look, they cut out these strips. So it can cut out however long you need. And so I just cut out, like I said, this little scrap strip. And so it cut out all these strips, and I don't know if I want to put the journaling over here on the right or some on the left. I think I want to put it maybe on the right. I don't have a lot of room on the left, so I think I want to put it over here on the right. And I'm going to have to trim these down a little bit. So let me grab my scissors, and I'll just snip a little bit of this off. And about right here, and I think I only have room for 2, but let me go ahead and get this other one snipped. But aren't these strips perfect? Every scrapbooker needs these dies. They're great. And then you can just put adhesive on the back of them. See, and I've got these left over, so I'm going to add these in my little small stack and sort trays, so that I have them for the next time I need to do some journaling. All right, so I have went ahead and used my journaling Le Pen and wrote out my journaling. And so I wrote the date, June 17th, 2022. And then I wrote mother and son dance. And I'm putting some adhesive on the back. I didn't want to put glue in case I needed to pick them up and move them around. So I'm using the tape runner. Just see right there, I needed to pick that up. I'm using the tape runner in case I got them crooked or something like that. I didn't want to put them down and need to pick them up for some reason. So I think that looks pretty good. But I think there's something missing. Like, I think it needs something underneath it too. I like that, but I think it needs something else underneath it. So off camera, I did go ahead and stamp Captured Memories. And that is from the stamp set Remember This from Close to My Heart. And I think that the stamping up above really ties in with that stamp down below. And so this is the final layout. So if you have enjoyed this video, I hope you'll hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to leave me a comment, and I will have links down below in the description box, so feel free to shop my links, and I really appreciate when you do, as I do earn a small commission, and that helps support me and my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!